Talking with the experts.
Kylie Osborne discusses in episode 377 how business owners can find their why, reclaim their time with tailored accounting services and solutions.
In today's day and age, everything is cloud-based. So using reputable software providers that are trusted and certified, like your Xeros and your MyOps, helps. And then trusting your advisor or your tax advisor, having those systems in place as well when it comes to cybersecurity. So having a really good relationship with your IT person helps, because then you've got them to talk to, you've got them to review your systems to make sure everything is ticked. So I'm not an IT person, and there I've got a connection who helps me with that. So again, I want to reclaim my time because that's not my strength. My strength is not IT, but I know someone who has the skill set to help me that will save me time and save me money instead of me trying to fumble my way through it.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from talkingwiththeexperts.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. Now, would you like to reclaim your time? Do you want to have more time to do the things that you love to do and not the things that you feel you have to do? My next guest, Kylie Osborne from KOnsult Business Services, is going to enlighten us about how we can reclaim our time. Now, Kylie has over 25 years of industry experience in both public practice and private enterprise. She understands the needs of managing a business together with the compliance requirements of a tax advisor. Kylie is a fellow chartered accountant, having held various senior management and executive positions throughout her career until she decided to reclaim her time. Welcome, Kylie, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that beautiful introduction, Rose.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Now, tell me, how did you get into leaving the corporate world and starting your own business? And why did you do that?
Oh, look, that's a very, very good question. And it was a very interesting time for me. Now, I've got 25 years experience in the industry. And most of that experience is between two roles. So I'm very grounded when it comes to being employed. So I worked in public practice for 12 of those years for that one practice. And then I moved into the corporate world where I worked for, I think, about 15 years in that one business as well. Then I made a big decision to move into another role that at the time really aligned with me and my values. But as time progressed, I realized that all the time I was spending working within this business was at the detriment to my values and what was important to me. And at the end of the day, I'm a mum. I've got two young boys, and I was finding myself not being the best version of me because my time wasn't being allocated to the right places. So I took a step back. I actually took about 9 months off work to decide the best course of action for me. And I landed with my skill set. My skill set is accounting. I've done accounting for so long. And after 9 months of having a rest, I realized what I really enjoy doing is helping businesses, get their time back on track and provide them with a service that helps them make better business decisions. So it was a bit of a journey. So I had to sit back and think, what do I enjoy doing? Where do I want to spend my time? What can make me money? And, what does the world need? And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Japanese term ikigai.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess in essence, I found my ikigai because I sat back and I could tick all these boxes, and I found that I was able to build a business where I can reclaim my time and what's important to me and help other business owners do the same. Because business owners didn't get into business to sit back and do their bookwork and their admin. They got into business to do something that they're passionate about, and they want to focus their time on that. So that's where I nestle in between their tax advisor, because I've got the background there, and as opposed to an internal business manager, because not all businesses want to employ someone, part-time. Even 20 hours a week sometimes is a stretch. But if they want someone for that 5 to 10 hours a week, perhaps, to kind of sit in between, help them manage their business, work with their tax advisor, there's my ikigai. There's my why. And so that's where I help businesses. And that's why KOnsult kind of grew to where it is right now.
Oh, what an interesting journey.
It was.
So how can we get our time back? How can we, as business owners, other than, I know delegation and, virtual assistants and all that sorts of things is the primary goal of getting our time back. But what are other ways that we can do that?
So where I focus is looking at, why. Why did you get into business in the first place? Where your passions are, where your interests are, because that's what you're motivated to focus on. And I often say to my clients, yes, we can look at the numbers, but what I really want you to do is focus on the top line. I want you to focus on doing the things that you love doing in order to grow your business and to grow your top line. The rest will fall into place, managed well, but I don't want you to focus on what you don't have. I want you to focus on what you could have. I want you to think from a place of abundance and what's coming. So when we talk about reclaiming time, it is in essence outsourcing a piece of work that could help you focus on that top line. Now, yes, depending on the business, depending on the size, depending on what their needs are, the reclaiming time piece could simply enable them to remove that burden of admin work so they can keep looking forward to what they need to achieve.
Yeah, that all makes perfect sense. But what if the finances aren't there for them to do that, especially if they're just starting out, and they've bootstrapped?
That's a good question. So when I worked in public practice, I'm very familiar with the way pricing structures are put together. I'm very aware of the cost involved. So if you're a client who essentially throughout the year just kinds to just maintain themselves, just kind of look after it themselves, fumble their way through. They're not numbers people. I've got clients who look at me and say, I just hate numbers. I can't stand the thought of looking at my numbers, but it's something I have to do. And it actually kind of demotivates them to, spend time in their business. So if you're a business that just makes their way through throughout the year, they come to their year end and everyone has to pay tax, or everyone has to lodge a tax return, pay tax if you've got your profits there. So that come tax time, if your tax advisor is presented with financials, with a ledger that is unreconciled, using a business bank account as a private bank account, using business funds to, perhaps just move things around to other people and not keeping track of what's happened throughout the year. Like your tax advisor will probably look at your accounts and go, oh, well, what is this transaction? And it was something that happened 9 months ago. And the business owner, oh, I don't remember. Like it's not going to be conducive to like clear, concise financial records, which is what your tax agent needs in order to be compliant, in order to lodge your returns and to, keep the tax office happy. So if you're a business that doesn't pay attention to that work during the year, come year end, your tax advisor is presented with something that's not quite right, what happens?
Well, you get in all sorts of trouble and it takes longer, it costs you more.
That's precisely right. Reclaiming your time during the year will save on the costs of your year-end compliance. So it's balancing that. Where do you want to spend your funds? Because you're already committed to getting your tax work done. So I've saved clients money by moving that, day-to-day, month-to-month type work out to a business services business like mine. So week on week, month on month, everything's reconciled. And because of my experience in public practice, I'm well versed to what the tax agent wants at the end of the year. So week on week, month on month, everything's done. Even the business owner, they might fall in love with their numbers because they're correct. And they've got someone who is able to explain what their numbers are and what they're doing and what they could be doing throughout the year, not just once a year when they have to do their tax and they dread doing their tax and they put it off doing their tax until the very last minute. So reclaiming your time, outsourcing, although yes, there is a cost, but if you're a small business starting out, you're not going to be needing exorbitant services as well. You keep it simple. You keep it in line with what the business needs at that time. So it might be an hour a week, as straightforward as that, just to ease that burden for you to not think about, oh, I have to reconcile my bank account. I have to keep all these receipts. There are systems and processes to make life easier for business owners. So that's a great question, but it's allocating funds in the attempt to save you funds overall.
Makes perfect sense. But with all the scams and, the data breaches and so forth that have been happening, with the bigger corporations around Australia at the moment, how safe is someone's, financials when, you're giving them to somebody else? It's quite a scary thought.
It is quite a scary thought. And in today's day and age, everything is cloud-based. So using reputable software providers that are trusted and certified, like your Xeros and your MyOps, helps. And then trusting your advisor or your tax advisor, having those systems in place as well when it comes to cybersecurity. So having a really good relationship with your IT person helps, because then you've got them to talk to, you've got them to review your systems to make sure everything is ticked. So I'm not an IT person, and there I've got a connection who helps me with that. So again, I want to reclaim my time because that's not my strength. My strength is not IT, but I know someone who has the skill set to help me that will save me time and save me money instead of me trying to fumble my way through it. So I know, every time I open up my news app, I'm like, oh, there's more. Did that affect me? And then I'm getting more and more text messages about, I got one last night saying that the Bank of Africa has some money to deposit into my bank account. Really?
You wish, yeah.
I know. Well, I didn't do any work with the Bank of Africa.
Yes, I know. It's we're a little bit like that. I mean, we've got obviously got a landline because we've got the internet.
Yes.
However, it rang 3 times yesterday. Now, nobody has our landline number other than my telco. So how are these people getting
it?
You know, and my telco wouldn't ring me on the landline anyway. So, you know, how do these scammers get hold of my landline number when it's not even in the phone book? You know, it's quite scary.
It is scary. I do feel somewhat naive. I feel like I live at this level and there are so many things happening underneath, and I don't think I can comprehend to what extent is going on. But absolutely, I'm at the stage where I'm that skeptical, even with numbers, right? So if someone sends me an invoice to pay for the very first time, I won't just pay it. And it doesn't matter how much it is, because I want to ensure that that email that I've received is true and correct and hasn't been tampered with along the way. So I as much as it feels overboard, like you'll ring up suppliers and say, look, I'm ringing to confirm your bank account details. And they're like, well, why do you need to do that? We've sent you the email. I'm like, well, in my experience, I need to ensure third-party validation. I won't even use the telephone number that's on the invoice. I will go to like a Google. I will search them because I'm not I'm that skeptical.
Yeah, I'm getting that way too, because I'm SEO done on my YouTube channel, and there's a business in the UK who is going to do it for me. However, I went to their website and they didn't have many testimonials on there, so I've sent them back an email before I sign on the dotted line. Can you provide me with some proof, social proof that you're as good as what you say you do, and is my data safe? Because I'm going to. I mean, it's cryptocurrency, but it's still the point that I'm spending money and I don't want to have it wasted.
Well, yeah, I don't want to lose it.
Absolutely, yeah. So you've got to be really careful. But yeah, getting your time back is being aware of potential scams and spammers and so forth is I know it initially might seem that it's taking up your time, but I think in the long run it will actually save you time, because then you can tick that business off.
Yes. 100%. And then once you've confirmed that those details are correct by having that third-party validation, going forward that it's correct, that it's correct, that it's correct. And then you'll get an email saying my bank account details have changed. Well, you don't trust that either. You make that call again, have your bank account details changed. So you need to be aware up front and invest that time up front in order to save the time down the track, putting out fires and fixing issues, trying to get money back from the bank if it's gone out is hard.
Yeah,
it's possible, but it's hard, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I'm finding that at the moment. I paid somebody for some work, and I paid through Afterpay, and I've asked. I didn't like the work, so I wanted a refund, and I'm still waiting, and I've been waiting a month now. And they'd said that they'd processed the refund, and so I've got onto Afterpay, and Afterpay tells me that no, they haven't done that. So trying to get this money back is
that's hard. And even through that third party, like your Afterpay and your PayPals, because they've got their own processes to get money back. So you're going through their systems as well.
Absolutely, yes.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is, and it doesn't leave a nice taste in my mouth, because I may have used this person, down the track for another project, but now I won't. So he's lost a customer because he's not reliable. And to me, honesty and reliability are, are key things for me, because
100%.
But
anyway, not only lost you as a customer,
but he'll lose others now, because I will.
You will share your bad experience, and there's a ripple effect.
Yeah. So for every one customer, you normally lose 10. So
yeah. Oh, look, I've had experiences where I will not recommend businesses as a result of my experience, and I've got friends and networks who have jumped on board. So the ripple effect is huge.
Yeah,
so look after your
Yeah,
look after your customers.
That's it. Well, I mean, without customers, you don't have a business. So,
100%.
and I'm really disappointed. And,
Mm.
and if I don't get satisfaction, there'll be some naming and shaming going on.
Yeah.
Not that I normally do that, but I feel that in this case, he's ripping people off. So,
yep. Stay tuned.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not about getting your time back. Well, it is, I suppose, because
it is because it's wasting your time now with all the effort to get your money back. It should be simple
absolutely
process, refunded back in your bank account, move on. But it's not happening. Yeah.
No, annoys me. Kylie, where can people find you if they'd like to learn more about you or work with you?
Yeah, so I have a website. You can reach me there at like www.consultbusinessservices.com. It's a long one. And
Consult is spelled with a K.
K-O. It is because my name
is
Kylie Osborne.
Yes.
And Consult, you'll notice, has a capital K and a capital O.
Absolutely. I wondered why that was, and then you've just pointed out, I thought, duh, I should have seen it.
Some people get it. Some people are like, oh, that's a nice name. But I'm like, it's Kylie Osborne, Consult Business Services.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Consult Business Services, on Facebook at Consult Business Services. So look for the blue phoenix rising above. That's part of my, I guess, my keywords. My keywords, I've got focus and I've got rise and I've got freedom, because for me, my why is time freedom. And I work with business owners to help reclaim their time freedom. And their time freedom could look different. So it all depends on where they want to focus their time. So absolutely. I look forward to helping businesses achieve what they need to achieve, whether it be spend more time at home, spend time with their family, or spend time marketing their business, or just spend time in their businesses doing the jobs and tasks that they enjoy, and leave the stuff they don't enjoy to me.
That's it. That's a good plan. So reach out to Kylie Osborne, and her details will be in the show notes when they go up onto YouTube and to SoundCloud. Kylie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.